Y'all, today we need to talk about the fallout of the latest update to the Bazaar that's finally hit live realm. There were some issues in test realm Bazaar, especially with the price of empowers and snacks that they actually listened to and like basically reverted. But unfortunately, there are still massive issues with the Bazaar. Live realm right now, let's say that you want to buy something, right? If it's regular equipment, it actually looks fairly unchanged. But the second that you try to buy things like treasure cards, snacks, reagents, you'll start noticing that something is seriously wrong with the Bazaar. What you end up seeing is literally empty pages when it comes to TCs and reagents. This is the entire page of reagents, and not a single reagent is something that you couldn't literally just buy from a vendor outside in Old Town. Let's say that you want to PvP and buy Enfeebles. Let's say you want to do Decathlon and buy treasure cards to help you do that. The Bazaar used to be your main vehicle to do that, but for some reason with the latest update, either due to a bug or change in player activity, this is absolutely just not the Bazaar that we know and love. I wanted to talk about all the things that I think are contributing to this, because I do not think that it's a singular issue, and I think it's actually going to affect the game very badly if it continues like this. So one, let's look at what we do know. They did make a concrete change this update. This was something that I don't think they really advertised well in test realm, so we couldn't give feedback on it, but this is something that they've basically added, right? So basically they added a cooldown so that anytime someone sells something, there's an indefinite period where it doesn't actually enter the Bazaar. You have to wait a little bit and then it'll enter the Bazaar. People are speculating that this delay could be anywhere from 10 minutes to literally over 30 minutes. But the idea is that if I were to sell this Pierce treasure card, right, I'm not basically able to do it in a way where I can make sure that someone else on the other side of the Bazaar can buy it. As you can see, the Pierce that I just sold, it's not here. Who knows when it'll be here? It's not instantaneous like it used to be. Now, why would they do this? I want to say that their rationale for this is basically just to prevent people using the Bazaar as a way to trade with others. And I really need to understand why that's a bad thing, because frankly, I don't get it. Maybe I'm like coming from like a privileged standpoint as a streamer. I've had my viewers sell TCs for me to buy or reagents to buy all the time. I frankly don't see a problem with it. The problem that I encountered with it is that people that were using bots were able to basically snipe those reagents when my, viewers were trying to give me something, using the Bazaar as the main mechanism to do it. It looks like with this change, the only way to trade between people is to trade TCs, and those already come with so many restrictions because there's so many no trade TCs. It feels like a serious restriction on how players can interact with each other, and what I think is very ironic about this is, I think people are responding to this change by actually guaranteeing that they get stuff using bot. I don't really know how crazy the whole Bazaar botting situation goes. All I know is that when sell times become unpredictable, meaning if I sell something and it's unpredictable when it enters a Bazaar, something that uses non-human ways to get those things, it'll always advantage from that because it'll constantly be refreshing the Bazaar to buy the item that it's botted to buy. So if this was like a way to de-incentivize people using Bazaar bots to interfere with people using the Bazaar to trade items, I think this had the opposite effect, because this is now an environment where the only way to guarantee that you get what you want from the Bazaar is to bot it, and that's something that's just in my opinion, really out of control. Botting is a selfish activity that lets you profit off of other people using an in-game feature like the Bazaar, and it fully prioritizes a person botting over the health of the actual community when it comes to trading items, the actual economy of the game doing well. I don't understand why they would add this change without completely disabling the ability to use Bazaar bots. I think that's the only way to make a cooldown like this appropriate to add into the game. So yes, one thing that Wiz did that I think is frankly unnecessary is a Bazaar cooldown, but even the redeeming aspects of it, where maybe it would de-incentivize botting, it seems to have done the opposite, and now botting is also making the Bazaar unusable. Things that KingsIsle did and things that they didn't intend to happen as a result of what they did. Regardless of what they intended with this Bazaar cooldown or any other part of this Bazaar update in general, this is going to have seriously negative implications for everything that people do in this game. I think my biggest concern is that there's a lot of TCs that you need for PvP, like Enfeebles, for example. I don't even know where you get them because there's no vendor for Enfeebles. You can't even use arena tickets to make Enfeeble. Are we expected to garden for Enfeebles now? And I don't even want to get started on things like Decathlon, buying things for cheaper than vendors so that you have access to a lot of things like blades and enchants and other things for PvE. It makes everything an extreme inconvenience, and I think that's a serious issue. What are the solutions to this? One, I do think that they have to crack down on bots in the Bazaar. I think they need to put it in their TOS. If you're using bots to hoard a bunch of items at the expense of other players, there should be some consequence to that. Because I literally think people run around acting like they own the bazaar when that's just, I don't know why that's normalized. I think that's idiotic. And two, absolutely they need to do this. I think if the cooldown is anywhere close to 30 ass minutes after you sell an item for it to be gotten, I think it needs to be way less. Maybe don't make it instantaneous if the concern is that, you know, maybe there were too many people botting the bazaar or something. I still don't really get the rationale, but you can make the selling of an item unpredictable in terms of when it enters the bazaar without making it 30 minutes. I think it's obvious. So I don't know what the actual delay on it is. Someone can let me know if they've been looking at it. Maybe we'll figure that out in the comments. It's clearly way too high. Now, I don't want to, you know, spend this whole video saying that this is like the worst part of this update. Just like many other parts of this update, I'm actually very impressed by how much they actually did get done. I think the backpack buddy feature is still really, really awesome. I don't think they need to change this at all. I think it actually adds quite a bit to the bazaar. You could really seriously customize how you sell stuff with this. And another thing that I'm pleasantly surprised by, you can actually sell jewels now in your inventory, and you could just sell it right into the bazaar as long as it's auctionable. And the ones that are auctionable actually sell for quite a bit of money. I was very surprised to see that jewels that I literally don't even need anymore, I could literally fund an entire pet hatching thing with just a few of these. And some of these you actually get dropped quite often, especially if you like farm or quest in higher level worlds. Additionally, I don't love the user interface like that much. I feel like it still feels a little foreign to me, but I do like that when you have an item that's not usable, it's grayed out in a way that's a lot less like in your face than it used to be. I actually like it. Feels subtle, feels like it's well done. So I don't want this to be a video about, you know, Wizard101 fully, you know, flopping when it comes to, you know, any change. I think much like most changes that they do put out, there's some good things and some bad things. It's just in this case specifically, one specific aspect of this bazaar change is overriding everything. I think people see stuff like this and feel like they've literally entered the dark ages of Wizard101 again before the bazaar even existed. And I think it's highlighting the real complexity of this. I feel like for such a big update, I don't think they should have included the bazaar with all the moving parts that it has. Honestly, I don't think I could have personally seen this type of chaos like coming from this. I did want to make a video because in case you're trying to sell something using the bazaar to a friend, it doesn't really work anymore. And two, way more importantly than that, this change is highlighting a lot of issues that Wizard101 will need to address so we get the bazaar back, and we can also address other things that affect the health of the community and the economy in Wiz. Hopefully they take this feedback seriously, just like they did when we, you know, talked about the Empower and the snack stuff in Test Realm. I think they really did listen to that feedback. Let me know what y'all think about this. Let me know what you guys think is happening with the bazaar. Maybe some of my explanations aren't enough to account for how crazy of a change this is. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub if you're new. And as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome. See y'all soon. And yeah.